Okay, we are actually technically live. Let me just check the live stream right now, but we should be live right now. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy DJ L7. I'm just racing to my live stream just to make sure this is broadcasting. And anybody's watching it this late, you will see we are live. Okay, excellent. Okay, so let's get to the business, folks. All right, so we're gonna start right now. Very happy to have another U.S. president's candidate on my show, and I'm gonna let him introduce himself. Though, go ahead. Um,
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate the time and the support. My name is Jorge R. Zavala. I'm a recognized Green presidential candidate um, for the United States here this coming 2024, and we're going to get down to the nitty gritty on this.
okay. So to first start off this interview, what state are you coming from?
This is California, Central Valley,
California.
Fresno. hmm
Okay. So the first thing I usually ask my people is, what got you started in this whole political journey? Was there some was there you were active as a little kid, or you were raised in it, or something happened to you later
No,
in life?
it's a tip off, a threshold. Um, um, when man comes to face his own um, destiny, all these struggles that are happening, dealing with contracting, Senate, Congress, whatever it is, there's a failure to strengthen, encourage. There's interference and barriers everywhere. This discrimination, bias. It's just it's so bad that a person can't function free and equally. So I come to that point, and so I just started breaking down through frustration, uh, you know, policies and agendas and petitions. What is wrong, and trying to get everybody to encourage them. See, it's about a belief. The people don't believe in themselves, and they believe in their representatives. The representatives don't give a damn about the people. So we already have a break. You got a falsehood, a false hope. You're not going to get stuff done. You're going to cause angry, confusion, and so that's where we're at as the United States people. We want to believe into something, but these people are not there. There is no bridge. You have to believe in yourself, and you have to believe in others. Once that happens, a bridge gets created. You have a passing, a pilgrimage. You have a destination, a goal. There is no common ground on anybody because their minds are too narrow. Their perceptions are too small. Level of consciousness is not there. There's no appreciation on anything. So there's no direction. It's all got to stop, cease.
So the thing
We're
is, to tell you the truth, I have a lot of the similar, viewpoints myself. I think a lot of my audience does. But how did you come to this realization that things were right? Because like you said, most normal people are not really. I know that you do have a. You have a disability. I think that we talked on the phone. You said that you were blind and you do detailing of cars. Are you
right.
legally blind, or is that like just vision
No, I
impaired?
am.
Or
I am legally blind.
okay,
The right eye is gone. There's only about 20% vision in the left eye. To the
okay,
left hand side. I'm known as Dr. Z in the auto detailing industry. I'm a master detailer. So I took the eyesight of people, what they think they need to perceive in order to see, and I brought it to the senses, to the hands. So I teach people to see with their hands. When they come in, the car feels like a chalkboard. When they're done, it's like wet ice. They can't grab it. It's a brilliant mirror. And so I had to teach them how to see with their hands and open up their minds. So the blind is teaching the sight how to see. Interesting, huh? So there's a
okay.
lot
So
of
I've been
perceptions.
yeah,
There's
I've
a
been
lot of
active for a long
perceptions.
time. And a
Mhm.
lot of times I find that people in the disabilities category are some of the best activists because they actually rely on making sure that things are accessible for themselves. They have to know the law. They have to be able to negotiate certain things. So was it being disabled that really turned you on to activism, or was it something else really?
It is all based on the disability, the frustration, again, being dependent, trying to be self-sufficient, trying to achieve that goal in this day and age with a disability. Is it probable? Is it conceivable? Is it feasible? Is it, you know, is it reality? And most of the time it's not. So again, the person's trying to use their belief, but they're finding themselves stuck in the system. They cannot get there. Um, and so, yeah, it is all based on my vision, the frustration, the anger, and the new direction of trying to change things. If I'm having a hard time, And I, who I am, with all this knowledge and experience and all these wonderful things and businesses and all this creation, electronics and engineering and sciences and whatever it is, if I'm all of this and all of that, it didn't matter. I still couldn't get to A to B. And if I can't do it, I can't imagine the rest of the economy. And so if the people are angry, they're frustrated, they can't believe and they don't have no trust in anybody. And I don't blame them. If you don't do it yourself, it's not going to be done right. So as being a world champion Blue Devil myself, you know, and a former Marine, there is no, no. There's just a way and a will, and a human existence has this inside of him. But again, it's belief. I have to believe in you. You have to believe in me. And when that happens, a blossoming is created, some understanding is created, a growth. So I want to get there. You want to get there, society, but we all have to work together. So what I want to mention, if I can, is talk about the realization that we are not in a democracy. It's a facade. You don't have any rights. That's why you have to have an attorney. Let me give you an analogy that was taught to me by the federal judge who got Clinton off. What the definition of is parse, syntax, grammar. Analogy in the courtroom. When you go into a courtroom, you're an undocked vessel trespassing. While you're trespassing, you open your mouth, you're babbling, and you're creating perjury. You're upsetting the judge. You have to be docked with an attorney, and you must pay that toll. You see? So when you understand this analogy and what your position is, we don't have any authority. So because of this, we need to strengthen the people's characters. They have to stand up. We got to get rid of the fear. Why are you afraid to speak up, to speak out, to do this and to do that? It completely took away your belief in your humanity, your existence. Then we have foreigners coming over here. They believe. They want it. They want it. We're too comfortable as Americans, and they're going to take everything away from us. America's got to wake up. We got to understand where we're at and where we want to go, because we're not there. And is there any of these topics that you want to focus on right now? Because I could
Absolutely.
really.
The first half of the interview is really covering you and just letting them know about you, just so you know. All
I
my
see.
questions for the candidates that I ask are basically essentially exactly the same in the same order, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So really, those topics and stuff, we'll be talking about some more of the topics later, but just so you know, the disabilities, group is actually the second largest minority group in the nation. Some people say the largest voting minority group in the nation. Very strong. Often, you can take a look and you tape in a picture of a diversity right into a into an image, AI, and you won't get any disabled people in the picture, right? You often won't have Asian American men in the picture either. Often excluded. I have a lot of the similar ideas for yourself. I think you're gonna love the things that we're talking about and working on. But let's just I just want to also just dig a little bit more into yourself and understand, yourself. So, and to help my listeners to really understand yourself as a candidate. So, once again, I have over 100 interviews with candidates all across the nation, pretty much the same exact format, the same exact questions. If you thought these questions were interesting, you can check out other candidates and see how they answer these questions. Next question will be different candidates have different ideologies, right? Some people say they're socialists, some people say they're capitalists, some people say they're conservative, some people say they're progressive. We could use any labels you want, right? Or maybe you don't really want to be stuck to labels, whatever you want. But do you have a certain ideological framework that you're? I think you ran with the Green Party, right? A lot.
I did. So
Okay.
the thing is this: I'm objective. I need to look at things in multiple perceptions and have a higher level of consciousness. If I don't appreciate everyone's perception, I will narrow things out. If I have an own agenda, it's going to be very narrow resolution or some kind of conclusion. So all of those criteria: separate, segregate, isolate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, the emotional tone scale drops. You all kinds of stuff just starts happening. The brain starts going. You know what I mean? A conservative and a liberal will never ever come to a conclusion because they are using two different parts of the brain. They're not functioning the same. So there's no
Could be.
common ground. So because of those criteria being I'm a progressive. I want to fight. And then you're like, oh, I guess I'm not a progressive. And then it's pulling away from here. So what we need to do is become non-biased, non-partisan. No labels has the right approach, and not putting labels on top of things. If I shook hands with a Democrat or Republican, whoever it is, somebody's getting upset. And you're like, why is that? Because their mind's closed off. They can only see in one point in a direction. When someone does that, you should automatically be excluded. It's coming to the day
Yeah.
and age where AI is going to have to start taking over. Men, they're not capable of all these perceptions, and they're getting paid off by their own agendas. That's why we're
Yeah.
always in an argument. We're never going to get there.
That's very true. All right. So the next question I have for you is there's a lot of different sometimes it's interesting that you have no labels, right? I'm also similar. I actually am all the labels, right? You say you reject
Mhm.
I'm actually part of all the groups, Democrats, Independents, Greens, Liberals. I'm part of all the groups. But just so you know, some people are influenced by someone, right, with a certain philosophy or political philosophy, right? Being American, I'm heavily influenced by Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, as those are the activists that Americans are brought up on. I don't really know activists from other countries that well, or I'm very skeptical about the transmission of those their truths to our ears, right? But what are there someone who's been influential to your own philosophy or maybe political thought or maybe your journey?
Let's see. Um, Brian Tracy, Eckhart Tolle, um, Ron Hubbard. Understanding the emotional tone scale, understanding your position, understanding that you have a role here. If you can connect yourself with God and appreciate things around you, you have some understanding and start fighting the reality and start manifesting your own destiny. People have not understood the relationship um, there are about our emotions and how we reflect. So you see, the mind's level is narrow. A person is reflecting their brain from their ego based on their emotional state. Very dangerous, very scary, limited perception. And so we really got to open our eyes up, read the stories of Hermes, read your scriptures, your Bible. The Constitution of the United States is based on the natural law, the common law. Ethics are based on the Holy Bible. All the laws and rules are based on the book of Deuteronomy. It's from the scriptures. Like it or not, it's there. And so it's been written into our Constitution that all men are free and equal, that we have a right to choose and to grow and expand, to appreciate. Those ethics come from God. Those are based on his teachings. And if we can obey those, you know, don't steal, don't kill, right? Don't take your neighbor's wife, you know. Uh, Stop lying about your neighbor's wife. Things of that nature. Are these good principles? They are. Is there anything bad with them? They're not. And I think we need to hold on to these principles because everyone's removing religion, but all religion is based on one thing, and that's God's creation of everything and everything in it. And once we start resisting that and fighting that, we're fighting God. Then we're angry and upset and confused, and we only have ourselves to blame. So
So is this God a Christian God or is this God really
there's only one,
non-denominational? Yeah,
right?
okay.
There's only one. There's only one God. Muslims, Jewish, it's all one God. And see, the problem right now is that um, the whole war, and no one's talking about it. And I've been talking to people from Palestine, Iraq, and this and this and that. The Jews classify them as a chosen people from God. Okay, great. However, they denied God's son. So they're no longer chosen. That's the part they're not getting. And so now they have the beatitudes that it's we can do this and we can do that. Well, other people are saying, well, if you're God, how come you're not following his rules? Why didn't you listen to his son? So they have this attitude that everyone's making everyone upset and angry. And that's it. It's that simple. They won't accept Jesus Christ as a savior or his teachings. There will be no more war. There will be understanding, not an eye for an eye. You know,
Okay.
and That would be it. So once that understanding takes place across the planet, because everybody has a heart and everybody has love in it, where does that come from? And so it only comes from one person. And how do we use it? And so we're disconnected. You know, it's just we're not educated right, and we just need to take that time, and we have to have a common ground and some understanding here.
Okay, so I'm Christian myself. We'll have some stuff to talk about at the end of the program. But just so I can also be clear, you said three names earlier. I don't know if you remember all of them, but you did say three people that were influential to your name to your political thought. I don't. You could just name one or two of them, or you can name all of them if you want. But what specifically about their methodology of thought was particularly influential to your own, outlook on politics?
Well, they weren't politics. They were about finding out who you are and how you can relate to people.
Okay,
Eckhart Tolle's is psychology, finding who you are, the ego, the beatitudes. You know what I mean?
so it's more about
Um,
like self-actualization and really being all you could be, I guess.
it is. And then Brian Tracy, super conscious, using your pineal gland, reacting, responding, being aware. You know what I mean? Rising your heightenedness. Ron Hubbard, Scientology, understanding how the brain functions, your emotional tone scale, your particle flows, you know, this structure and how it reflects upon, and then again, your emotional state. If you were scared when something happened, it's going to be scared again. If you were strong and confident when it happened. And so people's, again, it's their mind, their soul, and their spirit all have to be lined up, but they're not. And so you have to have a lot of energy to make a positive change. You got to grab people's hearts and you got to touch it in order for them to believe in you. And when that happens, you have something, you know. So like Martin Luther King, he was able to touch the peoples. They could feel him. He was representing them. He stayed at a poise and it was consistent, you know. But it came to a point, didn't it, where everybody had to realize. See, there was a movie that I seen. I don't remember the end of the movie, but it was a predecessor to Martin Luther King. And at the end of this movie, the pastor, it was a black church. The pastor was saying the white men are coming over here and taking our wives, they're taking our jobs, they're doing this to us and all these things. And it's your fault. So the people are like, what? They're looking at each other. What do you say? They're about to hang them. He's telling them that they're being weak, they're being sloppy, they're being insecure. That's why they're being a target. So the people are creating themselves to be a target. It's their own fault for being weak and sloppy and lazy, and they have to strengthen themselves. And this is what I'm telling the people again. We're being sloppy, we're being lazy, we're being selfish, we don't know what we're talking about, and we're using anger to defend ourselves. America's got to really look at it. And then again, the foreigners coming over here and they're taking all the jobs, and this why? They're hungry, they want it, and we don't. We only have ourselves to blame. But
Okay.
if we can look at ourselves, then we can grow though. That's the point. You have to look yourself in the mirror in order to grow. Can I be better? Can I sing better? Can I make this person happy? How do we relate to this guy? You know what I mean? How am I
I
going to get
understand.
up that hill?
All right. So my next question will be, the thing is that there's different people who come to this, who become candidates with different levels of experience. Some of them have been candidates before. Some of them have been activists before. Some of them are new to politics. Some of them are, so out of all, just to help us to really understand your body of work, or, and it doesn't have to be just one thing, it could be a couple things, right? What are you most proud of accomplishing that's relevant towards the position of being president, right? So some people say they're kids, but I say, what, if it's something like in management or something like in terms of like passing a law or something, right? What is your, or executive position? What are you most proud of accomplishing?
Well, these struggles of performance, of breaking barriers, of accomplishing things that couldn't be accomplished before. People said it couldn't happen, and watch me. But like I said, it takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of experience. You have to bend. You have to go through there. You got to get in the dirt and the mud. You got to pull yourself up and out. You got to go through your own crucible. So once you have to gain this experience and find out that this guy doesn't know his job, this guy doesn't care about his job. This girl's, how did she get there? Um, a lot of people and these politicians nowadays, they don't know. They don't care. They're BSers. They're gonna tell you anything you want to hear. They're gonna use the mirror effect. You know, they're gonna repeat what you just said. They make you feel like they understand you and move on. I'm not a politician. I'm not a liar or BSer. I'm going to tell you for what it is so you can know the truth to gain yourself to move tomorrow. I don't have a secret agenda. I don't want to be rich and I don't want to be famous. I'm trying to strengthen the commonwealth of the people because I want to get there. But I know I'm not going to get there when I turn around. I'm by myself. You know, we got to, again, it comes down to the fear. We got to strengthen these people. They got to bear arms with their minds. They got to start stepping forward together. They got to unite their hands. You know, as they're doing now and they're doing their protesting, people are waking up. They're not getting paid. They're getting ripped off. You know, it's happening across the planet. But the problem right now, again, can you talk to your congressman? Are they going to represent you? Do you know who your assemblyman is? Your council? No, they don't care, and they're not going to do anything. That's just the bottom. We got to pull these people out. The whole thing needs to be. It's got to be regutted, and we all know that. You know, the House is split. They're never going to agree. America's. I don't know how much is going to happen to break down in order for this change to happen. But if we don't make this happen, as we are in fifth domination of this planet, how fast are we going to fall? You know,
Yeah, I agree
oil
with
or
actually a lot of what you have to say, to tell you the truth. Go ahead.
oil reserves are empty. Bank reserves are empty. Inflation is up. Housing, you know, the education's slipping. They're complaining about 100,000 people for the schools about the $8 billion, but then now they got 13, 20 million people coming here. Completely sank and broke the ship. It's completely empty. You know, there is no probable future.
Okay.
What's going on here? People really got to get serious about this. We're going to get the well. Let's get to that main point in a minute of how things are going to break down and how we can fix things. You know,
Okay.
so clarity of what the destruction is going to be there, but I'm about the solutions. Okay, so getting you to understand what the problem is one, but let's get an answer to fix it, and I think that's what I'm about. These guys don't have the answers. You know, we know what the problem is, but let's give the answers. Let's make the differences, make the changes. Let's start removing the people. Let's start voting the people out. There's also people don't understand that everything is based on patents. This whole green thing, it's all a lie. It's all a scam. The planet is changing. That's not a scam. We are destroying the planet. That is true. And it's at an increased rate. But what is the people don't know is that it's being held by the patents. See, I know for a fact in 1918, Henry Ford has an engine. It's almost perpetual. It reheats the exhaust from a carbon monoxide to an ethyl oxide or dioxide. It's a combustible fume.
Okay.
So now Dennis McCauley, here in Central Valley in Fresno, he died a year ago. He had an engine that powered his factory here for plastics production. That's what he did with his engine. He was an inventor, has lots of patents, and he reheated the exhaust and reformulated to combustible fuel. When the Ford company got a hold of him when he tried to patent it, and they showed him the engine, and they told him, you know, we have this, and if you try to continue to do what you're doing, we're just going to lock you up in court. You know, so the fact of the matter that there's a lot of simple modifications that we can do that wouldn't be the burden of fuel or gas or oil, that we would be free. But we're not educated to even know that. We're not even educated to even look at it, to even go to look at it, to even understand if we even do look at it. And that's holding us down. Why aren't we being educated to that? They're not teaching us. They're teaching us to be stupid, while the corporations are taking advantage of all these countries around the world and destroying it. You know, we just got to get down to the nitty gritty and start creating these solutions to these problems, because these people that are in it, they're not there for you or for me. You know,
I
they're just
actually
there
agree
to.
with a lot of things you're saying. We're gonna have a lot to talk about. I think you're gonna be a big fan of. I think we have a long future together. But once again, this interview is actually all the questions are standardized. We will be getting some of these issues probably at the end of the conversation, but we're just once again finding out about your qualifications. So while your outlook is very strong, right? Have you ever run for office before? Have you ever, interacted with how have you interacted, right? What are you most proud of accomplishing?
Um, okay. Right now, I'm fighting for disability rights. As
Okay.
a Commonwealth, don't have any rights, and if you're disabled or elderly, oh, you got even less rights. You know all the rights, but who's going to enforce them for you? You got to have money. You got to have an attorney. And then is he even going to do a good job for you? And then you're going to go against a big company, and so it's going to be a lifelong fight. It's an everyday battle, and trying to get people to understand people with disabilities. The Social Security is a big problem. Ticket, ticket to work, Maximus, the past plan that people don't know about, that is there to get people self-sufficient, independent, and off the system and the grid, but they're not teaching and educating the people at the Social Security office here, even locally. I give them a
So I
pass
know like
plan.
I know you see the problems, but have you like developed any programs to address the education that's going on, or
The
have you
pay,
like done
the
advocacy on behalf of
policies,
like disabled? Go ahead.
right? So I'm trying to break down these policies and break these doors down. In fact, with today, with Department of Rehabilitation for the state of California, dealing with the Senate's office. I'm trying to get these
Okay.
people to engage. I'm fighting it. I'm doing the big fight. I'm up against it. And it's pretty fierce. Um, I'm aggressive. It's on the edge. Uh, so this battle is ongoing. How far and how long I can last, it's a different story, isn't it? Um, but if I can unite and
That's
get these
true.
people
Yeah.
strengthen their hands, they can continue to fight the battle. You know, but we need to take America back. Is what it is. We got to get these people out of the office. We got to get
Okay.
people like George Soros out of the damn country. He's destroying the whole thing. Uh, we got to get realistic. We got to
Right.
get these names off. We got to get targets and get them out of here. Um,
Okay. Well, it's gonna be cool to actually dig into that later on, but right now we're gonna actually get into the pretty much finish the about you section. Now we're gonna jump into the policies. Now the thing is, I usually ask about my partners first. So the first thing that I'm gonna ask about is actually that Assange is actually freed. But he still wasn't exonerated. He's actually still I think they said did time served, but there's some issues about whistleblowing or the role of what's it called, the free press. So what's your position on the whole Assange thing?
now,
Go ahead.
I'm going to need a little bit of more information on. Are we talking about? Um,
Julian Assange, like, do you think like you could interpret that in any way you want, right? Like you might like think that that's like a fight about like you know it maybe you feel like he's released some private documents that could have hurt people. Like, okay, but maybe you feel like there's still an issue where he addressed right to information or things like that. Or maybe just just would you support the freedom? Well, he's free now, right? But would you support the exoneration of Julian Assange, or do you believe that his case is, you know, important when talking about like freedom of the press, things like that?
well, I'm going to answer this question in this way.
Fine, okay.
In the way that um, Senator John Kennedy would say it, is that the Constitution, the First Amendment, is very important. And if we were to take away the First Amendment and the people's voice and opportunity to speak freely without um, hardship or throwbacks or humiliation, and
Right,
everybody has something to say, from their own perspectives. A person might be hurting from a different reason or way, or how this might outcome this way. But I thinking that the Constitution is there for everybody, and that needs to be protected. Everyone has a right to speak, even if we don't agree with it, if we don't like it. But the press, as John F. Kennedy said in 1961, the speech and the president and the press, he encouraged the press to try to have an obligation to be aware of what they're doing and the effects of manipulating a cause or an effect, for their own publicity. Is that John F. Kennedy, he started off with this speech talking about Karl Marx. He was an obscure newspaper man that wanted to speak out. He wanted to raise. They denied him. He got upset, meant communism. So John F. Kennedy, he makes a remark in saying, next time an obscure newspaper man wants a raise, give it to him. He got upset, and he took all that knowledge and power and did something with it. So the power of the press, the press right now is starting wars. Look what she said. Look what he said. What do you think about that? What do you feel about this? What are you going to do about it? They're egging everybody on. They're manipulating everyone's emotions, and their press is out of control. It's really they're not letting people speak freely. They keep talking about the same issues. The people are
Okay.
brainwashed and programmed. So the best way for me to say that without infringing on anybody's rights or getting anything obscure is that the First Amendment must be strengthened and instilled.
Appreciate that. I think that's a solid answer. Yeah. I could appreciate the fact that you're really talking more to the issue than the person. I do think people get too much wrapped up in a little bit of
Right.
hero worship and stuff like that, and I'm okay with that answer. That works for me. All right, let's move on to the next question. Another group that I used to work with was the Yang Gang. That's a whole nother story, but they brought up an interesting thing called UBI. What is your position on UBI?
Refresh my memory. UBI. What is this?
Universal Basic Income.
Okay.
Have
And
you
you
heard of
said a
that concept
gang?
before?
I'm sorry.
Uni-
You mentioned a
Ye-
gang called.
Yang Gang. Andrew Yang. I'm actually hate him now, but I'm actually, but everybody has their own thoughts. Look, whatever whatever the case is, he still did bring the idea of universal basic income into the political, forefront for a little while. Yeah,
An
I've
equal
heard
an
universal.
equal and fair position and stance that everyone has an equal and fair and opportunity, coming to getting everyone the same and fair and equal. And that's a good approach. However, it has all these, it's kind of like I'm going to say it bluntly this way. It's kind of like Satan saying introducing communism. I'm going to give everybody their rights and everyone's equal. And they're like, hey, that's pretty good. Everyone's equal. But they're all equally worthless because they don't have a right uh, um, to fail, or they have a right for their own faith. A person's got to it's got to learn and grow. And people are going to have different statues at this time. And some people are going to try harder than others. Some people are going to try less. So when you give everything across the board equal, what happened was you got a fall happens. The people that don't know in their heart how to pull themselves forward, they're going to stay stagnant. And there's going to be no growth and development. There's no faith. And when that happens, then you have it defeats itself in the end. You see? So we want everyone fair and equal to have to have their own opportunity to make somebody. But if you keep them equal, then they don't have a chance to grow and expand as a human does. So there's a double-edged sword on that. And again, not to focus on the person, but on the bigger picture, on the macro, not the micro, on
Okay.
the projection. Because as a businessman, you have to project your future. Is this going to grow here, but it's going to grow 10 years from here.
Okay. That's a pretty solid answer. I do see like your reason behind that. It's getting some larger issues. So let's get to that'll be an interesting setup for this next question over here. Another group that I work with that I actually the disabilities group, just so you know, I may have mentioned earlier in the program, disables is like the second largest minority voting group in the nation. Very strong. They're very I've been working with disabled people for a long time. They're always very politically knowledgeable and active. So anyways, let's get the thing is that right now people who have people that are disabled are allowed to be paid sub minimum wage. Now, if there's an issue, which I could understand, right, with productivity, things like that, then maybe there's a way for us to at least, offer people with disabilities, a minimum wage standard of living. So, like, maybe it's got to be through subsidies or something like that. But would you support minimum wage for people who are, right, through one way or another, right? Maybe through subsidies or maybe not, but will you support at least that minimum standard of living for people with disabilities?
Oh, dude, the standard for disabilities, there is no standard. They're under par. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
they're allowed to be paid
Given,
under minimum wage. Yeah,
given, what are you gonna do with $1,000? You know what I mean? A month when rent's $800, $1,200. You know, it's just that's stupid. And then that
yeah,
money is not recycling back into the economy because it's going to the landlord, which doesn't have to pay taxes, which is not rolling back in the economy. It's built wrong. It's designed wrong. You know what I mean? Person that's disabled like me, visually impaired, I'm gonna have to pay 3 times more for transportation. I gotta pay for this person. I gotta pay for loss of that. Like, I gotta pay 3 times more to do the same thing, and that's not being accounted for. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Every person that has a disability has to have an advocate. Always mandatory. The children have to ask and beg for one to find out what their rights are. You know what I mean? Taking out of their pocket. Take your eyes out and see how far you go and how people are going to care for you. It's not going to happen. You're going to have to make it happen. And it's disabilities is across the board. It's not just physical, it's also mental. People have a hard time. They have a tragedy. They're having a hard time dealing with it. They can't grow past it. And then we're going to make fun of them because they failed. The damn system failed. We're not paying attention to the people and you know, I got to be more aware of a person's, um, I'm disabled. So this guy's not. But I got to be more aware of his emotions because he's going to be triggered and, he, with, he doesn't know how to work with the person who's disabled. We run, we're scared. They're disabled. What am I going to do? I'm nervous. It happens that those emotions are there. They're real. I performed them on the same thing. I've done it. I've been prejudiced. I've been biased. It's
yeah.
it's real. It's there. To say that we're not, if we won't grow. We have to learn from our mistakes, but we have to educate the people on what disabilities are. Like you said, 3/4 people they have disabilities. When we get older, we're all instantly disabled. We all need care. And what do? They throw us in somewhere else. But the point is, right now, what you're saying is that the money is not recycling into the economy. That's the point. They're giving them a little bit of money that's not moving back, and then they're going to use that against them. It's another infringement. Well, damn them. You know what I mean? They're not doing their job right. They didn't set up the system right. The Social Security is freaking backwards. The people don't know their jobs. They're not utilizing the ticket to work, the Maximus or the pass plan. They get these people self-sufficient, independent. They're supposed to have an advocate all the time, anytime, and it's not there. These things need to change and need to change now.
Appreciate that. So, the answer to that would be you do support the minimum wage for people with disabilities, or you don't support it.
No, right. And a little bit more than that.
I know it's a simplification, right? And I think that you're kind of
Right.
like getting that in your answer because I agree with that, right? Because the thing is that a lot of these things that they say are for us, like this, you're right. Even if even if they do get the minimum wage, right? Like it'll be taken at some other point by someone else as they jack up the prices. Welfare is very similar to that. So you're not wrong in the things you're saying, but
Right.
just to get like an answer, yes or no for this particular
Yeah, I got to
question.
pay a driver. I got to pay a worker. I got to
Yeah,
pay a worker to watch that worker because he's going to steal
exactly. Yeah.
everything
So
because I can't see. No, it happens. You're right. No, and then they're going to make them stand at the end of the line. They're not going to get their stuff. And they're supposed to be at the front. You know what I mean? It's not right. It's just that it comes again down to the human belief because we don't believe in people. And then the person has a disability. So then now they're like a dog. And then they're feeding their dog better than they're treating their brother because they're reflecting their emotion on the dog, but not on the person, because they got to understand this guy's emotion. You see how the people are really screwed up. We really got to be educated about our emotions and how we affect and care about people. You got to start giving a damn. America is what I'm telling you. You got to start using your heart, for the right reasons. You're gonna have to go through those pride, strife, selfishness, and you got to go through them. There's no way going around it. You can't skip across the water and say you're an American. It's not going to happen. It's not real. Americans are hardworking people. They give a damn. And I give a damn, and I love America, and I want America to be strengthened and stronger. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. All right.
I care.
And another group that I work with is the trans community. Now, the thing is that we know that a lot of times people who are trans face discrimination in their lives. They
Hmm.
find it hard to hold a job. They find it hard to get housing, things like that. And the thing is that right now, so this is going to be a hypothetical question.
Okay.
Okay, we find that a lot of trans people, because of the discrimination they face, need public housing. So the thing is that we find that 10% of the people who are applying for public housing, remember this is all hypothetical, 10% of people who are applying for public housing are trans. But then we find out, we do a little study, and we see that only 1% of the people who are actually in public housing are in fact trans. So we say, you know what, something's up here. So we run a study. We start asking people who are trans in the public housing community. We say, what do you think is going on here? And they say, we're getting discriminated against, we're getting beat up, and all this other stuff. So the thing is
Hmm.
that there's no law saying you can discriminate against trans people, right? In fact, there's laws that say that you shouldn't. But then we see that these kinds of things are happening anyways. How can, these people are paying taxes, whether you agree with their lifestyle or not? What can you do to assure this community fair access to government services?
Right. So we have a quick acknowledgement of a disacknowledgement of character, right? So now,
Yes.
so there's the first part. Once that happens, then we realize that I don't have no value, and then becomes angry, right? And then it causes that situation to multiply in contention, right? So just because um, they took their rights away from them, being biased or discriminate. Um, we need to strengthen ourselves a little bit more. As I said earlier, as I foreshadowed earlier, with the black preacher telling his people, you're being weak, you're being a target, you're letting yourself be a target. You know what I mean? You're not educating yourself. And so this again, I'm gonna bring that up into this area because we're gonna have to be a little thicker skinned, knowing that there's gonna be a bias, knowing there's gonna be a prejudice there, and then we don't want to make ourselves out to be a target or isolate ourselves even further. Um, we want to. Why are these people being identified as a trans for one? Is what I'm saying. This identification. Are they hurting themselves by saying I'm a trans and I deserve this position? You know, it's do you see a problem there? You know, if I'm going to rent an apartment, should I have to or need to disclose that information? No. So it shouldn't be a concern, but it is, and I think this is an over uh, concern too of education within the trans community and education on their own emotions, on their strengthening um, their own development. And I say this because this is a new development in a time where they're becoming aware of who they are and their surroundings and how to fit in. As a person is being disabled, we we know we're disabled. This guy treats us bad. You want to punch him in the face to say, "Treat me right. Don't you like me? I want you to like me. Acknowledge me. Here I am." But that's not the right way of doing it, is it? So I think this would be an opportunity for the trans community to maybe embrace themselves more and each other, and maybe the community would start embracing them a little bit further. Because I know it's a tough one. It's something new, awkward. They're not sure. You got all these emotions, uh, but they need to strengthen themselves who they are as a people.
Okay.
So that they don't become a victim of circumstance and fall into a pattern.
Okay. So one of the things that I said earlier was, just so you know, this question has like a little bit of a setup to it. Remember, it was a longer question where I talk about like 10%, right? The people are trans are applying for housing, and 1% of people are actually trans in the community. I think you answered it somewhat, but just want to make it really crystal clear here. So there's this idea of quotas, right? Or this idea of kind of like measuring things and saying, you know
Making
what, this,
equal.
yeah, because so how do you feel about that particular,
Okay, the data. All right,
approach?
so we
Or how do you use the data to like, to come up with your answers?
okay, here, I'm going to teach you about data. This is how we look at data. Okay? There's three
Hmm.
truths. Now, people can fight about what the truth is. George, you're going well out there. That's not the truth. And I'm like, it is the truth. So there's three truths in the world. Okay? So we need to
Okay.
put this in perspective first before we talk about the data. All right, there's personal truths that I hold, acknowledge, love, that I say this is truth inside of me. And there's political truths that I have to accept, that I have to acknowledge, and I have to conform to. Okay? They don't coincide. And then you have objective data that can be converted into objective truth. Okay? But don't ever pull that data close to you because then it won't be objective anymore. So we need to look at the data in a non-biased, objective point of view. So okay, so now separation the bias. Now let's look at the data. So is the data equal and fair? First of all, right? Where's the data coming from? Who measured the data? Um, is the data comparison of what? You got a big number in comparison to what? Can we measure the data? Is the data even accurate? Is it only because 1% of those people actually did that, or was it only because of 1% of those people was actually recording? Was it? Do we have a number saying out of 100 people, can we determine that 100 people that are trans filed and got denied? Once if we have that data, then we can make decision. But if we just say it's 10% over here and 1% over there, well, you only got 1% trans over here. You got 5% trans in that community. You only had 10% people. This guy had bad credit, and he was a trans. You know what I mean? You're like, so you start mixing all this stuff around. So let's talk about the data. The data's got to be accurate, but we got to look at it. But if the data is there, if what you're saying that they're being biased and prejudiced against, and those measurements need to be, you know, conclusive, you know, through your census, right? You're asking the people um, to get the actual data. Okay, you filed, but you didn't have credit. You weren't going to get it anyway. You know what I mean? But then you
Yeah.
go, I had good credit, and I filed, and I didn't get it. You're like, we got something there. You know what I mean? Let's pay attention to that. You know,
Yeah.
and then were you overlooked? What happened? And so, no, looking at the data, we need to. If that information is accurate, let's look at it. Let's not ignore it. But we need to learn how to take the data in. Okay, and then once we have that, then we project that data, and how is it gonna where's it gonna grow to? You know what I mean? So what you're
Yes.
saying is that these people that didn't get nothing, it was taken away from them. They don't have a chance to grow. Where are they gonna go? They got no advocate. The rights are getting there, barely in this situation. So yeah, it's we need to keep our eyes and our attention on the data as it's coming in, and I guess keep using it and start bringing more data up so we can make better decisions.
Yeah, I agree with that. There's actually, you brought up a lot of good points there. All right, cool. The next group that I'm going to ask about, almost done with all my partners here. You may have heard of something called right to repair. Have you ever heard this particular concept, right to repair?
Right? No, go ahead and
Okay.
elaborate.
The thing is that nowadays there's a movement to really. So what this fight has already happened before. Right now, if your car, right, if you want to change the oil in your car, you can go to any like garage and get the oil changed. But the thing is that there was a time when the car companies would try to make it proprietary, and they would say you can only come to my car dealership. So the thing is that now we see like a lot of softwares are being moved towards you know, you can only get it serviced at like the special dealership, right? For like your phones and stuff. You'll have to go to authorized iPhone, repair shop. And you no longer really truly own your product once you buy it. You can't just take it anywhere to get it modified.
Mhm.
Someone has to really, the manufacturer exerts some control over your product, even though you've already purchased it. So right to repair says that I have the right to repair my own objects and modify them how I want. Would you support right to repair?
So, right to repair. So I like that we're fighting big tech, that you want to isolate. Is it for their benefit? Is what you're saying, and not for ours? Are there people there? Um, then you have a chance of people being screwy repair guys. They're not doing repairs right. False stuff in it to get things done cheaper. Do we want our iPhones done at a certified location? And you're like, I don't know, like, yeah, but then there's not too many of them. Uh, so right to having our choose the right, um, and having big tech giving us the availability to have more business owners conduct those, uh, to strengthen the economy and to branch it out. Yeah, big tech is monopolizing. They are taking our rights away, um, and so this is an observation of that. You know, um, Samsung. Yeah, it's getting something else, isn't it? With Apple. But yeah, a continuous fight for big tech is necessary. They're going to completely dominate and monopolize, and we need to take a stand to that. I agree to take a
Okay.
stand to big tech.
Talking about technology, the thing is that the president is responsible for many things, military stuff like that. But one thing that was actually give me a second. President Trump made the news for actually doing a lot of stuff with crypto. And I believe that you have actually been a proponent for something called the techno dollar. What can you tell me about this whole techno dollar idea and what's your plans there?
All right. Okay, so long story short, we got the BRICS alliance: Brazil, Russia, India, South Africa, China, right? Italy, Canada. It's
Canada
France.
joined BRICS?
Exactly.
I
It's
didn't know that. Wow. Okay.
So yeah, there's lots where you're cutting you off. It, so they're cutting you off, and it's going to affect your whole family because they
They're
cut
cutting
your
off
bank
the
account. You
United
go to
States.
jail. You go to jail. You cut your bank, and you affect your whole family. So
Okay.
the alliance is um, that alliance is going to destroy our dollar. We're not backed by the petrodollar. The brisk is growing. We got to see a problem here. The You got digital currency coming out. Another problem. That digital currency is there just to wash the drug dealer's money, quote unquote. You're encrypting money, you're washing it, it's coming out the other end, doesn't know where it came from, it's clean. It's a perfect thing for a criminal. And for all these criminals that want to wash anything. So you got dirty money, you're laundering dirty money. It's, in, it's creating a value which is infringing on our dollar bill, is not backed by a damn thing. The banks are empty, the oil reserves are empty. This is a big problem here. Like, hello, you know what I mean? We're going to go into war and we got nothing to back our asses up. There's nothing in FEMA. Okay, so what do? I want we're going to back the American dollar by the techno dollar. Mandated, has to be done. There's no question and is or about it. Bring Taiwan into American soil immediately. I'm talking the whole island, the equipment, the people, everything. China's going to take it. There's not a damn thing anybody could do about it. Okay? Taiwan cannot protect themselves, and there's no way we can protect them. It's too close to time. Then it's going to affect the Philippine Islands. All our banking, telecommunication systems is there. China's doing their rounds are on both of them. They're going to cut the line in the Philippines. We're going to get banking down, telecommunications down. You know what I mean? Our dominance of fifth in the world. It's going to. They're going to take Taiwan, the chips, everything. This is bad. We gotta wake up, and you better wake up damn freaking quick. People get it. All the bankers that I've been talking to the last couple of months don't even know what the Brisk Alliance is, quote unquote. I'm serious. From the Federal South Help Federal Credit Union to Citibank here, the Bank of America over there, the U.S. Bank, they don't know what I'm talking about. We got a problem here. We got a big problem, America. You're getting fat and you're getting sloppy and you're getting lazy. I'm sorry, did I say that? But it's for your own damn good. I love you. And I really do. And I'm saying because I give a damn. And I'm working on myself every day too. But we got to make a change, people. We got to get smart. We got to start working together. They're blowing you off. You know what I mean? They're causing you to fight each other, and they're laughing at you. Let's not be stupid.
Okay. Um, what about the right now? You said there's some other things that you want to talk about, like the Philippines and Israel and some other things going on. What's your viewpoint on what's going on globally? You know, the president has to do some amount of, ambassador type work, making foreign policy.
Well, I would hit every country first of all. Everybody has to get hit. You know,
Get
Saddam's
hit
were
how?
all these countries that are not performing as a third as American dollar that are using the pesos need and must be converted to the dollar bill. Now, there's a two edges of that. If we do this, they will infrastructure themselves. They get rid of their capitalism. They will strengthen who they are. Trade will increase. You know, respect of these countries of who they are. You know, war would go down. All these things would start happening, and then as it becomes more Americanized. However, the side effect to that is that it'll it'll jam all of the agendas of all the lobbyists and all the capitalists that have their corporations in those countries that are causing those situations to be like that. They're paying off the politicians to look other way to keep their money flowing, to keep that country stupid, to keep that price down so they can make their profit, to keep it locked in like that. So that's the only negative thing is for the capitalists. You see, they don't want that. But we have to do this to free America. Why in the heck are we supposed to be good Americans, but I'm gonna pay the Filipinos $1.75 an hour, $9 a day? You know, do I care about his life? No. Is that right? No. Is there any ethics in that? Not. Where are the ethics? The love of money? So the world is destroying itself for the damn love of money. All these capitalists and stuff like that. The only thing that the Brisk Alliance would be good in is it would take their capitalistic money away from them. It would cap them. You know what I mean? And all that money needs to flow back into the United States. You hear me, all you capitalistic, selfish people? You know what I mean? You got enough money? Can you shove it up your... You got enough? Can it fit? It needs to go back into the economy, into the people. You know, you're taking it out, you're not putting it back in. They're the problem. Whoever's not putting it back in, like Amazon, you know, Musk, what are you doing? You got all this money, but who you helping? Your damn self? Are you helping the people? Show me you care. Don't tell me. Show me you love me. Don't tell me you love me. You know what I mean? Because you're not. Don't BS me. I can see right through you. All these billions of dollars can free all these children and all these kids and all these schools and all these foundations can be created and strengthen the people in their own economy and give them a voice. But they don't want to do that because they want it for themselves. So damn, break the money. Give it to the people. America needs to change.
Interesting. Okay. Appreciate that. I also think that I saw your website. I know that you have a plan for change. You have these kinds of petitions that you have going. What can you
Mhm.
tell me more about those petitions that you have on your website? And I can actually bring that up on the screen if you want. What's your
Right. So
website again?
it's votejz.org.
Oh, it's JZ. Yeah, and
Dot,
that's just the letter J and the letter Z. Okay. I'm gonna share that
right from
on the
my
screen right
initials.
now. Oh, by the way, I
Right.
think that your camera shutter is kind of coming down. If you could flip that back up.
Okay. Yeah. So the vote JZ, what that
Yeah.
is that it's converting now from the presidential into advocating civil disability rights and the mass production of my product line called Miracle Spritz, so that people that are disabled can have a job in their future and create. You know,
Okay.
I'm want to strengthen the people. So the website's converting right now. So it's changing from the presidential to that. Just to let you know. But the petitions are there to strengthen the people because see the people, you don't have any rights. You have to have an attorney. You don't have no value. And yeah, that sucks. And that's where the
Okay.
anger starts. So that's why I started creating these petitions is that if we get everybody to participate, then we can go in front of Congress. You know how all these bills are made. They got to start with petitions. but the people got to start signing the petitions. You know, they got to start putting their voice out there to make these changes. We demand this change. This is not what we want. You know, we got all these people saying this, but so, right, you don't have a voice until you sign and everybody joins together to make that difference. If you want to make a difference, America, you got to participate. You got to sign the damn paper. You got to put your voice down there to be heard. If you're afraid, I can't help you. Then don't complain to me. I don't want to hear you crying. You're going to have to strengthen yourself and participate as an American and put your voice down there. Because if you don't, you're going to lose it. And I don't want to hear it later. I told you now. You know, so we really do. Those petitions are there. They're strengthening the kids' schools. You know, they're breaking
Okay.
these bombs. These bombs. This is insane. Dropping bombs on people. That's disgusting. Production of bombs. Anybody who's production bombs, that's wrong. You know what I mean? Having Putin keeping them there in position like that, national security. This is stupid. Take them out. What are you waiting for? You know, it's just what is America doing? We're the intelligence. You know, China's right on our behind. We got Cuba right there. You know what I mean? China's position themselves in the Philippines, Taiwan Islands, and the Guinea Islands. You know what I mean? They're taking Australia. They're right up in. They're doing rounds up in by our Alaskan borders up there with Russia. They're getting ready. You know, the balloons, the quantum communication systems that they have. The people don't even know what that is. That's the future. They can take our data. They can manipulate our data at a distance. It cannot be. You can't stop it, and you can't even understand what they're doing. People don't understand quantum communications. There's just a lot of intelligence that people need to know that it's a slow takeover. You know what I mean? It's you see all these petitions and all these different rights are just disappearing everywhere. The whole thing. Your kids at schools going to what they're wearing. You know what I mean? After school, their education, their jobs, their retirement. You know what I mean? All that stuff. It's all freaking. It's all messed up, isn't it? It's a doggy dog world. And does it have to be like that in the United States, a third world country? No, but it is, you know? So, yeah, we
Okay.
need to sign the
I know.
petitions.
I noticed that these petitions. It seems like it seems to be like some kind of shopping cart. Can you explain that just a little bit? Just I think it might be some confusing for some people.
Well, the reason it's set up that way because it was on an e-commerce website. And
Okay.
so that's why you see no dollars. You click on it.
Right. It's
It's just
free.
a process that it's intaked properly and
Okay.
you get a receipt, use your signed signature on the form that you signed, and then one goes into the records. So it's like a transaction.
No,
You
okay.
complete.
So the thing is that I've actually programmed my own websites, just so you know. I had a web store before that I adapted off of. I was using OS Commerce for a while.
Mhm.
So is this something that you actually modified yourself, or is this someone like your tech guys doing this?
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what was the best, fastest, easiest thing to get these petitions active where they can sign an actual signature and have it in their hand and have an actual protected copy legit through a recognized system. You know what I
Have
mean?
you heard of
So,
Have you heard of something called Change.org? Why don't you just use that?
you know, so I have it. So I'll look into it.
Okay, yeah,
Uh,
that's probably the best known free petitioning site, right? It
okay.
may actually be there to actually collect other people's data, so we might actually be better off really doing it independently. But it's actually well known, and if it's big enough, it can actually spread
Right.
to some
Yeah.
type of
Yeah.
social
Anytime
media.
any type of knowledge or improvements that can be done should be done. So
Well, that's
that's
why
good.
we're working together, right? All right,
Exactly.
cool. So just showing my audience here this, and it's pretty. I think you said green and disabled. Well, oh, green by design, made by the blind. That's a cool little saying right there. All right, so
Eh,
yeah, cool. All right, so besides this, I'm gonna finish up the policy questions in a second. Then we're gonna go into our own little kind of like spin off.
Okay.
So, what is if we take a look at the U.S. right, the federal government you're running for president is responsible for the military, responsible for, a big part of the budget is going to be entitlements, right? Welfare, social security, things like that. Um, I don't expect you to know everything, right? But what particular areas of the government, that's related to the federal government, are you kind of like the most qualified to really impact if you should get elected?
Okay.
I mean, probably disability is probably the big one, but what else?
So, um, all right, where do we want to start chopping this tree? Wood limbs are all messed up, right? Imagine it's a vineyard, uh, like a grapevine, you know, and the limbs are hanging on the ground, and then the lines are broken, you know, and then the fruit's all messed up. It's an ugly picture. So where do we start, right?
But it sounds like earlier, like you were trying to like imply that's
Is
education, but what's your area?
the
What's your
nutrients,
level of expertise in that? What's your level of understanding of those particular,
all right?
field? That also a lot of education is actually state based or actually even local based, right? Not necessarily federal. Federal can have some impact, but a lot of the education is not
Okay,
even
the
state
first thing
local
the first thing
based.
that has to be done is the lobbyists. Gone. That's going to tie into the capitalists, which is affecting the agenda on the senates and congressmen. They're only breaking the 2 year. Um, they keep running for office. That's all they care about. They're blowing and wasting your and I money on that crap. Okay, they're giving $1 million. They're giving a budget of a couple $1 million, and they get $1 million from like Exxon and Apple, and you're like, why did you get $1 million from Exxon? You know what I mean? Like really? Like Apple? What do you? Uh, um, it's all there. They all get like $1 million each, and they all get a $2 million budget. Now, now, if you look at that $2 million budget in your community, and you see all those people, homeless, riffraff, and drugs and all that crap, none of that went to you at all. They have a budget and they're not using it. So we got a problem here. We got to get so the lobbyists, our congressmen aren't there for us. I'm proposing that this continues is to use AI and open and having proper inclusion because we don't have an inclusion here. We can't. There's no transparency. You don't know what the hell's going on, where did it come from, why is it happening? Because there's everybody's all these different passive agendas. So it's choked up. They can't make a decision. They're getting paid off. All that money is being sucked off. It's going into the and marketing and advertisements. It's not going into the recycling to the economy. You see, it's all messed up. Take all those people, all that they're damaging the whole freaking United States every day. Our own congressmen and senators destroying America every day. Do you see that, people? That's why your vote is really important. You know what I mean? And putting more pressure on these people to do their jobs because they're sitting on their ass every day trying to get more funding, trying to keep themselves in there. That needs to change. So so the time frames need to change. The lobbyists need to change. The filibuster, the ballots, the gerrymandums, they're shifting lines for advantages. What do you mean advantages? There should be no damn advantage. It's supposed to be a fair and equal race. It's not, and then that's all messed up. You got 1,300 people that ran this year as a presidential candidate. How many have you heard of? America? That's right. The only ones you saw on public television. The rest of them, they had no value, gave a damn. But how much money did they put into it? How much were they trying to care? It's the press is crooked. The press is destroying America. All that money is going to them, and what are they doing with it? They're making you stupid. They're lying to you. They're redirecting you, and they're making themselves rich and getting happy off it. Oh, can we help you? Oh, how do you feel right now? Oh, third world country. Oh, you just got your arm blown off. Hey, look at it. It's sick. They're playing on everybody's hardships, and they're making money off it like if they give a damn. It's sick. Things have got to change. They need to start changing now. All these damn companies no, I want that money go back into the economy. All that capitalism got to get capped. You know what I mean? Lobbyists out, the capitalism down. You know what I mean? These people
Yeah.
making their decisions, start using the data. I want to see transparency. Get these damn inclusion in here. Where's your votes, your petitions? You know what I mean? I want to have a double check. If this guy's saying everything's right, then something's wrong. You know what I mean? I want to go through
Okay,
the FBI and pull the whole thing out. Go to the damn universities. What's going on here? How much is money's going to this? You know what I mean? The all the people on the streets. There's no money from the city to the people. It's all privately owned. You know, it's BS, man. The politicians has got to stop. Get them out. We don't need them no more. We don't want them. We don't need them. They're taking and lying to us and our money from our own kids. So
that's
yeah, we
true.
gotta wake up. We do. We gotta wake up. You know, we really gotta wake up and but we gotta have some diplomacy. We gotta have some tact. We can't go in
All
there
right.
as barbarians. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's got to be strong and tight and professional, and do it again, and then do it
Okay.
again, and then do
Well,
it again.
okay. So now that people have your website, right? What was it again? JR for 24 again? What was it? Oh,
VoteJZ.org.
votejz.org. Now that people have your website, what do they have to look forward to? Do you have? I know that the election's almost here. Do you have any events coming up? Any particular? I guess these petitions. Do you have a time when you plan on submitting the petitions? What do they have to look
So
forward to?
this, well, the future that you need to look forward to is embracing your own voice, America.
No, but I mean,
Participate.
as in terms of like with your campaign or like with the things that what do you have coming up now that they have your website? Now that they're going to be following you and all that, what do they have
Well,
to look
if you want to
like?
follow somebody like me who's aggressive, okay, I'm very aggressive.
Okay,
For one, so that's number two. I'm gonna need support on this aggression. So you have somebody that's gonna be fight there for you. It's gonna advocate for you. It's gonna put his neck out there for you. It's gonna be humiliated for you. I'm gonna sacrifice myself for you and myself and the rest of the people because I think it's important. I think uh, in society, this tension blossoms out some positive resistance. You know, we need to give some resistance, just knowing that I'm going to be putting my voice out there and to help people. But um,
okay,
I just
that's
want
good
I
to know. All
just
right, let's move on to the side issues over here now. The thing is that what's quite interesting is actually you actually bill yourself as a Green candidate for president, but the Jill Stein is actually on the ballot in most states actually as the Green Party presidential candidate. So the thing is that explain to me a little bit more about your because this channel actually has quite a bit of background of exploring this particular topic. So tell me about your experiences as a Green presidential party candidate.
okay. I'm going to start in reverse. The last email that was sent as an observer of the Green Party ballot, and quote unquote me, uh, Holly said this: should we keep Jasmine Sherman and George Zavala as an observer? You know, and so
Holly from Hawaii.
Holly from Holly, no, Holly Hart,
Okay.
and the Green Party. She's from the PNC, Presidential National Committee. Um,
Okay.
so they're talking, going back and forth at the end of all the debates and all this stuff and going on. Now this is where it gets interesting. She's asking, do we let these guys participate? Blah, 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 blah. Well, here comes the culprit. I don't care about the campaigns. I only care about the party, quote unquote. That was from the guy named Tony in the ballot. Um, and so
Okay.
we have a hierarchy. It's not supposed to be a hierarchy in the Green Party, but there is one. So um, I thought it was going to be a fair and equal race. It's not. So everybody from the beginning got uh, they were more biased and prejudiced than than their enemy. They're so afraid that they become their worst enemy. You know, they're deceiving, betraying, and the coercion, and it's not growing. Everybody's upset in the Green Party. A lot of the states are split. They're just fighting, quitting. It's you know, Jill Stein always talking about the oligarchy, and when she's stepping on everyone's face,
She is the oligarch. She's
she is the oligarch.
if you
That's what
take a
I'm
look at her net worth, right? She's not just in the top
like.
1%.
Right, eight
She's
and a
in the
half
top
million.
5% of the 1%.
Right, she's a right son of a bitch. Right? Excuse me, did I say that?
It's true. Not only that, right? But the thing is, I can tell you why, right? Because I've been experiencing this. Just so you know, Josh Haley, an Inuit man, an indigenous man from Alaska, right? Green Party Alaska.
Mhm.
We actually had several U.S. presidential candidates in the last debate actually support a meeting for him with Gilstein and myself because of the way that they exactly as you said they've been treating the whole presidential process. Actually, they de-recognized the Green Party Alaska for daring to have a vote to decide who would be the presidential nominee. They were actually de-recognized, and we
I
have it
know.
on tape. We have it all on video. We've documented the whole thing. They actually gave their endorsement to the Aurora Party because Jill Stein wanted to keep once again her aristocrat friends.
Right.
She wanted
Exactly.
Cornel West, right? She was supposed to be his campaign manager. And once again, Cornel West is another celebrity, another famous person. They will not report on each other's transgressions. So you notice that even though it seems like Cornel West and Jill Stein are fighting, they're not really talking about the real problems because the real problems are the way that they treat us, the little
Because they
people.
are the problem.
Yeah, not only that, right? But we also have I do have an interview with Jasmine Sherman, also Emmanuel Pastrick, who ran for Green Party president last year. I mean, last cycle as well as this cycle, who's also complaining about the issues going on. And I actually have another group called Green Liberty PAC that I work with. That is posted. There's another one called Green Sovereign Rights Movement that I got Gloria. The thing is that a lot of the people are so hungry for their own power, right? And they want that media access. So the
That's
same thing
where it
that's going on in the
is.
Harvey Weinstein world, the Puff Daddy world, where they make these deals with
Mm-hmm.
other. That's why the media. You said why doesn't you were wondering why the media wasn't reporting on Jasmine Sherman, who actually won the free and equal debate with way more votes than Jill Stein. Because the thing is that I'll tell you right now that the media, right, Jill Stein will bring them clicks but Jasmine Sherman won't. So the thing is that the media is incentivized, right? Even if they're just someone who just came in who wasn't necessarily trained one way or the other, they just say, Jill Stein, I'm going to get 2,000 clicks. Jasmine Sherman, I'm going to get 500 clicks. It's Jill Stein every time. And these people do not have the same, um, you know,
They don't
positions
have
or they don't have the same priorities. Go ahead.
right. They're shooting themselves in the damn freaking foot because they want to be they want to get there so freaking bad, right? And so by having a fair equal race, it would cause the Green Party to grow and expand, people participate, to see in action, to encourage it, to see the numbers actually click and to rise. But since they're selfish and they're afraid and they're cowards and they're thieves, they're gonna do it this way, and this is what you get. Bunch of
And
pissed off.
actually, the thing is that when someone with talent comes up, they're actually incentivized to destroy that person because it
They
threatens
are.
their own authority. And the thing is that
Exactly. That's
yeah,
not green. Not green at all. The Green
and
Party is not green.
well, it shouldn't be right. But the thing is that I also work, like I told you, I work with Republicans, Democrats, Independents, Greens, Libertarians, all of them. And just so you know, so many people on the ground and all these groups say the same thing, but it's their leadership, the aristocracy, along with the media, right? Because the media wants to talk to the top guy in the Republicans, the top person in the Democrats, the top person, in the Greens or whatever, right? And they have their chosen kings and they have the little, and that's who they work with. And once again, the regular people on the ground get treated like, dirt every time. So
Right.
you're right. The idea of the Greens was originally the concept of a ground up, non-centralized, decentralized movement. But if you take a look at the reality, once again, the press,
See,
right?
it's a hidden.
We could blame
It's a
them.
hidden. Right. It's a
Yeah,
hidden secret. It was designed like that on purpose so that there could be a hierarchy. That's the whole point.
there you
That's the whole
go.
point. They don't want it. So hold on one second. Hold on. I gotta close this door. So okay. Oh, sorry. I shouldn't have got up. I lost my track here. All right. So um,
Well, we're,
they
we're
wanted.
building a
Okay.
coalition, right?
So they
Yeah. Now
wanted a
we have.
hierarchy.
Go ahead. Yeah.
No. So they wanted a hierarchy because of this. They're telling you it's like a I don't know. I'm gonna use this gross analogy again. It's like Satan's trick. Everyone's fair and equal, but worthless. So we don't want a hierarchy. Just take it ground down. But see, that was never their intention. If you and then their policies, they infringe on each other. So then I'm cleaning them up. I'm using the AI and I'm cleaning up, and then they stop me. They don't want it to get fixed. They were like,
Yeah,
whoa, whoa, and so they want it to be broken, and so they have that hierarchy. And like I said on the email that I got,
absolutely.
he said it. I don't care about the campaigns. I care only about the party. He's the party. You know what I mean? He caring about what he says, what I say is. So that right there should be broadcasted, shown. The Green Party isn't green. It should be torn apart. It's a chaos agent. They're not even care about the green. Their data is coming from the same people that they don't want, like the car industries, telling you that ethanol is too expensive to make, that we can't convert it. That's what I'm like. They're taking their data from the same people who they're. Dude, yeah, it's pretty bad. It's really bad, and they're really biased, and it's all about their emotions. They make the decisions based on their emotions, not on any projections or data. And so it's all wrapped up ugly,
So
and you have
right
to
now,
be
what we're
part of the.
doing is right. Since the media is in bed with the party leadership, right? We cannot hope that a lot of people hope that the media is going to cover our issue, and so they sell each other out. That's why this is a grassroots movement for us to really, for me to connect with someone like yourself, right? And the thing is that, I'm not telling you should trust me. You should, because it's impossible for any two people to share all positions or priorities. But I do
Mhm.
have a very powerful coalition once again. We can get together disabled, the second largest minority voting group in the nation. I had also we said people with the what other group is actually taking on the people who are not for the vaccine mandates. They're also a very vocal group who's fighting against the Green Party leadership. We also have an indigenous man who was elected to office in Alaska, and indigenous, disabled people fighting vaccine mandates, and also we have the wrongfully incarcerated. There was a man from Pennsylvania, was tied to Mumia Abu Jamal named Mutia Jamu Sebru, who actually confronted Cornel West on my behalf regarding the BS that's going on. We
Mm.
also have the Asian American war victims like myself, and together we can all form a ongoing and continuous. I'm from New York. I know that Jasmine Sherman's from North Carolina, I believe, right? We
Mhm.
have Alaska on board with Josh Hadley, and we can really start to form our own alternate, right? And I'm not saying that we should be the new leaders, but we need to really create at least
No,
information that's being spread out through our network about what's really going on because no one
no,
knows.
no.
Go
Point
ahead.
yourself as a leader. You point yourself as a leader. You dignify yourself, and you start making the changes. As the people start following it, you delegate. Just be it, and watch the people fall in line. It's like the movie. I don't know if you've seen it, called Judge Rory Bean. It's a true story of a gentleman came out in the West, took a riffraff town, and turned into something dignified. You know what I mean? But he,
Maybe.
yeah. So it's just we got to take the position because they're not going to give it to you. Um,
I have a very that's interesting because I know that I have a very special challenge because a lot of us, right, from disabled to Asian Americans, right, a lot of times people don't see us as leaders. So we really, right, I really gave up on really, and it's a bad thing and a good thing, right? Because
mhm.
honestly, I don't think that anybody really should be the leader, but it's okay for rich white people like Jill Stein to be a part of the program, but they don't get to replace us. And that's their whole game point, right? The thing is that they don't let us have a voice. They don't let us be involved. They don't give us any sense of fairness. I wouldn't exclude her, but they're doing that to us. And she needs to get smacked straight across the face.
Right. No,
Yeah, Jill Stein, by
removed.
the way,
Right.
yeah, cannot do. I don't know where you are, but I try to lock off my area, so I don't know what part of California you are. But if she tries to do anything in New York, I'm there busting it up, making a lot of problems. I'm there,
That's good.
protesting extremely loud. They're not reporting it, but I've documented it, and you'll see that they really don't like to actually advertise any event that she's going to be at here in New York City. That's one of the largest markets in the nation. And I'm telling the rest of my crew, if you can't lock down your locality, right? Just if these people just don't let them all, they shouldn't be allowed to do anything in your city without like some form of resistance. You know what I mean? If you're just like going to complain about it online, then you're not really
Right. You don't have a
that
solution. You're
appealing.
not. You're right. If you're not.
You're not
Yeah.
committed.
If you're
Yeah,
not part of the solution, you're the part of the problem. In other words, um,
to an
right.
extent, yeah.
So
And also, right before you, they're by the way stealing I was actually the New York State coordinators for the People's Party, and $20 to $30,000 a month was collected by that organization, and it all disappeared. Jill Stein was with them. Angela McArdle ended up getting cozy with the leadership there. Where did all the money go? Once
Of
again,
course.
they're putting it out to their consultant friends and using it to pay for their airfare, and they're
Yeah, they
stealing the
moved it
money straight
around.
up.
No, yeah, they're moving it around. They know what she's got. She was in debt last for the last run of $8.5 million. I think Michigan or Wisconsin, they were upset. Uh, all the money went there, went to straight to marketing. Um, Oregon, John Quetzalcoatl, the reporter there, Oregon had split the big fight. They caught one of the members throwing people off the ballot, literally.
Yo,
Um,
I just had they just had the women candidates event, right? And I was asking them repeatedly in the chat. I was like, "Where's the $1 million that they collected, and where's the help for the down ballot candidates?" There is none. In fact, the down ballot candidates are really get nothing. Maybe they get a free Zoom call that they could participate in, but really, Jill Stein is there just using the party to just make millions for her and her team, and she gives back nothing to the cans, but just to get the clout, just to get the media access, they'll sell out the whole entire rest of the Green Party just so they can be somebody lifted up
right.
by it's like Puff Daddy, Harvey Weinstein bullshit straight up.
Right, check this out. So Violet Zatola, and I think she's a
Okay.
really nice person, part of the Green Party. She was helping me, guiding me. She was the only one who was talking to me, guiding me, and all this wonderful stuff to make sure that she promised to get me on the ballot in California. I was the only one that actually did the requirements to be recognized. I did the requirements, and then Jasmine, and then they didn't recognize us, and they threw us off the ballot. And so right then and there, but see, Violet Zatola was guiding me from the Green Party National Committee. The only one that seemed to be fair and nice and was telling me and had a heart, blah 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 blah. She left California from the Green Party because of all that reason. So now she's a PNC. Okay, so she's helping me, she's guiding me, she's promising me. She's here in the meeting, then she doesn't know what to do. She doesn't want to go against Stein. I'm like, what are you doing? You
Why?
said, and
Why?
so then I
Go
found
ahead.
out
I
from
get that.
Nevada. I
Yeah.
find out from I forgot his name. From the Nevada Green Party. She goes, I'm sorry, I forget her name, but she goes, she's lying to you. She goes, no, George, she's effing lying to you. And I'm like, what? And I go, then that's when I realized the darkness. She was playing both parts. She was pretending to me to guiding me, but then the door closed and she just walked away. And you're like, and, and I had a really hard time acknowledging and accepting that truth. It took a long time, and I was telling my assistant, "Do you see what's going on here?" And everybody's like, and then you hear from the other candidate, same thing. You hear from the other candidate, same thing. And then I asked him if I even asked Violet, which was the best one of the party. Is there one person in there that's good,
They
quote
get rid of
unquote?
them.
She said no. She said
That's
there's not one
me. But
person.
they get rid of people like me, and I'm not the only one. Anybody who's good, like Josh Hadley from Josh Green Party Alaska, like yourself. Anybody who wants there to be a fair process, ooh, you're not gonna last in that party.
Okay, so now here's the biggest problem. Out of all the bullshit and all the arguing, and all blah. Okay, here's the truth and what we're supposed to be doing. I got all the freaking green technology. We already know about the damn freaking. They're lying to us, showing that cutting the Ford company, showing that patent, and exploiting it out to the world. You know what I mean? What needs to happen? They're lying to you, and everybody's like, what? Yeah, they need to demand that national security. They need to know uh, that there's all of this wonderful green technology. The water vortex system will clean and purify the water, put into your body, get rid of diabetes and all this stuff, put it to the schools and the hospitals, and just make everybody healthier and cleaner and faster. Less money, toxins, put it to the plants so they can grow faster, less water, contaminants, all this, all this wonderful technology that I have, this science is for green, and not one of them has been utilized within the Green Party. So, oh yeah, there's a lot of beautiful green technology that is there that we should be talking about and getting the people to start working on these projects and stuff like that. You know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
just a lot of wonderful stuff there that working on these projects, um, creating businesses within the community, modifying the water heaters, creating. So you can. There's free. You can bring in free light into your home with fiber optics from the sun. It's free. It's cheap. It's great. It's been in
Interesting
Japan for a long
concept.
time. Nobody knows about it. It's just, yeah, it's just a magnifying glass following the sun, and the fiber optic goes in and it shoots sunlight. So if you want to have a greenhouse, you want to have bays, you know, better than UV lighting. It's just a wonderful stuff. So just a lot of, I'm just telling you, there's a lot of wonderful practical green applications and things that can be done and modified. There's a lot of engines that run on water. You split the water. There's all kinds of stuff that's going on with the ocean that we could fix easy, with the air we can fix easy, with the weather we can fix easy, with the fires we can turn off easy. All this knowledge and data that everyone's asking for the whole planet, I have, and I'm trying to give, and they're not taking it.
Well, like,
And
if the medical industry, right, instead of actually building of, intelligently designed stuff to take care of, like, the respiratory H5N1 virus or things like that,
Mhm.
right, which have been like, borderline, pandemic type stuff. We're focusing on, penis enlargement pills or things like that. I mean, really, the objective of the industry is to make money, and that's not always right to take care of our overall health, and it become imbalanced.
No, here's a funny
And
example. Here's a funny example to share across everybody.
go ahead.
It happened to me. I went to a doctor. I want to go back in the Marine Corps. This goofball doctor, Doctor Natural Vision. Um, Dang, I want to say his name because he needs to be exposed. So I want to go. So I'm young. Want to go back into the Marine Corps. He taps me on my shoulder, gets comfortable. He goes, George, hey, and November 23rd, there's an inocular lens that's going to be just for you. The FDA is going to approve it on this stuff. You can go back in the Marine Corps. I'm like, really? And so he's playing on me. He knows that can't happen. It's not going to happen, right?
So why
So,
is he doing this to you?
for the money. So then, after the surgery, so I'm the only guy on the freaking planet that don't have an inocular lens in my eye, okay? Because of this jerk that's caused me to lose it, and then damage as I'm doing the cars. Like, yeah, I don't have a lens, the natural lens. So since my eye was so nearsighted, um, and it's shaped like a football instead of a basketball, it's not refracting right. So he took the lens out. So I'm a negative 31 diopters, which is really bad. Um, but he took that
Okay.
lens out. Automatically, that lens changed and that focus changed. He didn't know what to do. The kids playing. He didn't know what to do. Um, so he didn't put a lens in. I almost killed him, literally. Went to the office upset, like what's going on, and then he didn't know. And all the other doctors are like, "Oh no, he was just a money doctor. He shouldn't have touched your eye. He knew not to touch your eye." But so what I'm saying is that they're doing this to everybody across the country. My mom, all kinds of people. They say you need cataracts. Oh, you have a cataract. They don't have a cataract. They're going to take their lens out instead of getting paid $500 for a cataract surgery that they don't need. They're going to charge them $2,000 a lens. They're going to tap them on the shoulder and say you might need to wear glasses later, but you have a cataract. You got to perform the surgery. They don't know. They say okay. Then you got all these elderly people upset because now they can't see. I need my freaking glasses. I can't see because their eye can't refract. It's not refracting. They cut the damn muscle. They cut their muscle. They bounded them to freaking glasses. They're upset the rest of their life just so they can get that four thousand
I know
dollars.
exactly what you're talking about. It's really you're
It was on.
exactly right. The thing is that the doctor got used to doing a lot of cataract surgeries, and then anybody who comes into his office has a cataract surgery, has a cataract thing. He knows it's not right to do. You have to prove it. He's got the insurance. He's counting that a lot of people won't report. They'll trust him because he's a doctor,
Exactly.
and this is a huge problem.
So it was on 2020. It's a big deal. It's happening. The people don't know, and I'm trying to tell the people, and they're like, "What?" I'm educating them. That is not a cataract. I guess a flasher. That's a floater. I go, when you look in the thing, do you see your ring? Do you see this? And they're like, no, you don't have cataracts. They're like, what? He goes to the doctor. He goes, do I have cataracts? He goes, no. Then why are you gonna have me do the surgery? And The yeah. So it just I know that happens across everything, right? Um, you know, uh, uh, yeah, so the people really need to fend for themselves. We just got to work together. They know they're not going to care for us. We just got to create little groups and educate ourselves. And now, with the help of technology and AI, we have as much knowledge as the doctor now. We can get that as much as experience as him. And the damn computer's going to care for us a little bit more too. It's going to be a little bit more accurate. You know what I mean? We're going to have to start. I have to self-diagnose myself. They misdiagnosing me, this and this and that, and figuring out. And you're like, that's a good diagnosis. I'm like, did I have to do that? And you're like, yes, you did, because they were gonna do it. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess if we can get past the ugliness and the anger and knowing that they are lying and cheating, if we can just focus on creating stuff beautiful and new differences, and then we might have a better future that we want to hang on. I think it's just our whole approach, because
It's
the
not what it
Green
was.
Party,
It's a huge problem.
you're right. So the Green Party started out with the right intention, you know what I mean, like that.
I
But
joined in the 90s. Yeah,
and then
I've been a green for a long time. I'm
you
sorry to
know,
see what's happened to it. It's
and
disgusting.
who doesn't really want to be green? Everyone loves and cares about their environment, and all that good stuff, right?
Wow.
But now the people are being brainwashed, and they call the it's getting out of control
Well,
here.
they
Um,
stopped looking at the green principles and they started believing that Jill Stein is the green and that she's not anymore. She's actually an oligarch and she's a problem. We need to get rid of her. But there's a lot of people protecting her because she's making a lot of people a lot of money. She's
right,
actually also, just so you know, this is how sick it is. There's a guy named Scott Ritter. She's actually done, multiple things with him in order to know, right? And the thing is that Scott Ritter is a two-time convicted pedophile. Now the thing is that there's some things like people are supporting him because his stance against WMDs during the Iraq War, which I applaud, right? Which I appreciate him telling the truth on that, and he might even be a victim of CIA stuff, right? Anything's possible until proven otherwise. But once again, right, if he's a two-time convicted sex felon, why are there no actual war victims, right, involved with anti-war activism? It's Jill Stein, Cornell West, right? These millionaires. It's like having a reparations event with no black people. It's like having a criminal justice reform event with no black people. It's like having a disabilities event with no disabled people around. It's
right.
it's it's a spit in the face to war victims, and they're
Eh,
putting in Scott Ritter, a two-time convicted two-time convicted pedophile, because they're normalizing the sexual abuse of Nick Brana and Caleb Maup and other high ups in their aristocracy of party leadership. It's disgusting, and that's really what the Green Party has become. I mean, the
It
leadership, anyways. So we got to
it
clear
is.
them out. Yeah, go ahead.
No, it is, and the whole approach of
I've
clearing them
emailed,
out.
just so you know, I've emailed every single state. I have the email for every single state office, and I've emailed every single one of them, and none
If
of
you
them
want
are.
to,
What's that?
no, so no, yeah.
I'll send that to you.
My next agenda and our plan
Yeah.
is to what you're doing right now is to expose it and to fix it. Now, the intelligence to break it, those people to even have a participation, we have to file some written mandates to the state, um, so that so that which is going to cost two things. Um,
Okay.
uh, uh,
Okay. Let me tell you about another project I'm working on right now. So earlier you
okay.
said you talked about the petitions, right? But the thing is that there's something called So there's this body here in New York State, or there's also a similar body in California. What will you hear about the Dominion machines and stuff like that used to manipulate the votes and stuff like that, right? And you see
Hmm.
the Green Party has its own analog for this, right? But what organization controls the ballot process of what machines are used, what the rules are? What organization controls that? It's the state
Well,
committee for whatever country, whatever political parties in power. So for California, it's the Democrats, but maybe in another state, like maybe like Texas, it might be the Republicans, right? As in terms of who gets to decide, or we could say Kentucky, probably Republican. The Republicans would be controlling the state committee. Not only do they control the ballot process and the way that those things go, but they also control the judges. And if you want electoral fairness, so the thing is that right now, for New York, luckily the voter database is free, but it has like over 8 million records. So a lot of times it crashes our database. We've already uploaded something called Rep My Block, which is open source data software where people can download this, because you have a rally, right? And it's a good photo op, but maybe only 10% of the people actually vote. So
Mm-hmm.
the thing is that we have the data on who actually votes. Now, the thing is that unfortunately, California, I think, is the most expensive. I think to get your state data for voter
It
database
was
is
a
like
hundred.
a
It was
hundred,
a.
like
It was a.
$20,000 at 30,000. It's like some obscenely hun.
No,
Um,
no, no,
no,
no, no. The voter registration file. It was 20 million people. I have that. It was $100.
that's it. Oh my God. Hey, look, let me. Damn, that's good. Okay, so let's start. We're also compiling this data and keeping right, because a lot of times when people volunteer for campaigns,
Mm-hmm.
they'll be sent to phone bank, they'll be sent door to door, but they'll never be given the list of right that voter database. But we're collecting that and sharing that amongst and open sourcing it for people like you and me, so we
Yeah.
can start winning our races and getting our petitions and getting people
Right.
actually into the
And
stuff.
that lot, but a lot of that voter data is, dude, which
Is
is really
outdated
weird.
or
That
wrong?
data, that data is most of it is you got to run it through, you got to clean it, and
Yeah,
you got to clean it twice, and then you got to filter it, because it's junk.
yeah.
Most of them, I finding out, they're junk. They're junk emails. Um,
It's a, you're damn right. And the thing is that on our end, right? The thing is that it's a lot of work, and a lot of the people out here take it for granted. No one's really right. We open sourced it.
so
My man Theochino spends weeks, right, like
so
massaging
I
the
figured
database
this
and
out.
all working.
So you want to use email 250. Um, you want to use email 250 and
To validate without
okay,
burning your email address.
okay, no, it's called email 250 is the company name. That's where you can put in, you can clean, you can push millions of for $500 unlimited. You can push millions of them, and you set it up. I can teach you all that up, but it took me months to figure that out. And then see the whole file at one time. It's called, I just forgot it. Gigasheets. Gigasheets. So you use Gigasheets as $100, and you can put the whole file in there, the whole
Okay, yeah.
thing. And that's the
Yeah,
problem,
a
right?
lot of databases can't, but that's good to know. Yeah, so we'll start sharing that information. We're going to start building on that more afterwards. I'm dead tired. The thing is that, right, also the election's coming up in a week. We actually have a tomorrow. I'm going to be on with Chris Cuomo and Bill O'Reilly. We got I got my people storming something called Newsmax, and we're just new. I mean News Nation. So I hope you look at my body of work, but it's quite extensive, and you'll
Wow.
never hear about any of it because once again, the most effective people are actually sabotaged and suppressed. But I'm very excited to meet you. You say a lot of truths, and what you said right there about the voter database, that $100 for California, whoa, that's great. Okay, I had different information about how much it costs out there.
But they
I
gave it
got
to me in
Arizona.
junk. Yeah.
Arizona. Yeah, we're
They
gonna
gave
show.
it
But it's good that you clean it up. That's good.
yeah, they gave it to me in junk, and then I had them do it again and break it up. But yeah, California Secretary of State, yeah, it just yeah.
Right now I'm using Substack because it's free. I used to use Mailchimp. Then I went to Brevo, which is I think $20 for 20,000 emails, which is okay. But if you actually send me, if we have,
Shopify. Use Shopify. You got 1,000 for $1.
okay. Well, right
Yeah.
now
So
I'm using was it Substack because it's free, right? But
right, but you only get so many, right? You only get to
mm,
do
I have
push
like
some.
I think 2,000 people on my mailing list right now, so
Oh, that's good.
it's
Well, yeah, no,
okay.
that's yeah, okay, so that's small enough. But see, when I want to push a big one, using those systems, there's all these rules and laws, and it trickles, and it, all that
Yeah,
stuff. And
yeah.
then
But if you push the
Shopify,
big one,
but guess
advertise
what?
my mailing list on there too.
Shopify doesn't do that. It pushes it. It pushes it, and it's the cheapest one that I found for that to be to not go into spam and to push it fast and to do all
That's
those little
good.
things. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's start. We're going to start sharing information and data and do more organizing as time goes on. But I just wanted to learn a little bit more about you. One of these days, you
No,
may
thank
have
you.
questions for me,
I
but
had
I
a
just really my
I had a
information.
really good time. Thank you for letting me express myself. Like you
Thank
said,
you.
I think I had the experience and the know-how and the show-how to get it. So if
Yeah. I'll
yeah,
see
we
you on
can.
Sunday. Yeah. We're going to do more on
Awesome.
Sunday. Yeah. So
Okay.
it's a little bit in the process to find you, but I'm glad I finally did. And we're going to keep working as time goes on. God bless. All
Hey,
right.
God bless. Thanks you.
Thank you. All right. So I'm going to hit end stream. We could just talk a little bit afterwards, just me and you.